Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to TMRP on Metropolis Radio. We have a very packed show for you once again this week, so let's just get started. And we are going to start by talking about John Wick Chapter 4. This article from Hollywood Reporter. John Wick Chapter 4 annihilates Shazam 2 with $73.5 million US box office opening. Now, just to put it into perspective as to how much John Wick Chapter 4 annihilated Shazam 2, if we compare the Thursday previews, right? Shazam Fury of the Gods only made $3.4 million in Thursday previews, while John Wick Chapter 4 made $8.9 million in Thursday previews. And keep in mind, one of these movies is a PG-13 superhero movie and is significantly shorter. One of them is an R-rated action movie that is damn near 3 hours long. And the R-rated action movie that is damn near 3 hours long made more money than the PG-13 superhero movie that was significantly shorter. But anyway, let's dig into this. Baba Yaga, a.k.a. John Wick, has delivered once again. Action pick, John Wick Chapter 4 slashed up the weekend box office with a huge $73.5 million domestic opening from 3,855 theaters after earning glowing reviews and an A Cinema score from audiences. Once again, let's compare and contrast. Opening weekend of Shazam Fury of the Gods only opened domestically to $30.5 million. So John Wick Chapter 4 opened to $73.5 million domestically. Again, one of them being a PG-13 rated superhero movie, the other one being a near 3 hour R-rated action movie. Globally, it debuted to a resounding $64 million from 71 markets for a global start of $137.5 million, a series record on all fronts. Once again, let's compare to Shazam Fury of the Gods. Globally, Shazam Fury of the Gods only made $60.5 million opening weekend. Again, one of them is a PG-13 superhero movie. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep reiterating this. One of these movies was a PG-13 superhero movie. The other one was a near 3 hour R-rated action movie. And the near 3 hour R-rated action movie made more money than the PG-13 superhero movie. Right? For years and years and years and years, you would have Hollywood studios saying, like, why aren't they making any more R-rated action movies? It's like, well, because they don't make money by comparison to all these PG-13 movies. Well, this near 3 hour R-rated action movie kicked the shit out of a PG-13 rated superhero movie that, once again, was also part of a major franchise. John Wick has never been a major franchise by comparison, though. In North America, the fourth installment in the marquee Lionsgate action franchise easily bested the $56.8 million opening of 2019's John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, which I am proud to say that I was a part of that $56.8 million back in 2019. I did go see John Wick Chapter 3 opening weekend. I believe I went to go see it on Saturday. I did not go see it opening day. I did go see John Wick Chapter 2. I think I also went to go see Saturday. I saw the first John Wick in theaters, but I did not see the first John Wick movie until it was 2 or 3 weeks into its theatrical run, and I had just turned 18 by that point. And it's like, okay, I want to go celebrate by going to a movie. Well, I really have one of two options. I can either go to Interstellar or I can go to John Wick. And I really wasn't in the mood to sit through a near 3 hour Christopher Nolan movie where it's just one gigantic circle jerk of Christopher Nolan's ego. So I'm like, you know what? I've heard good things about John Wick. I like Keanu Reeves. I'll go see John Wick. I went to see Chapter 2 opening weekend. I went to see Chapter 3 opening weekend. I did not go see Chapter 4 opening weekend, and that's mostly just because I'm just done with movie theaters entirely. It had nothing to do, I'm probably going to watch John Wick Chapter 4 when it comes out on home video, but I'm mostly just done with movie theaters, so I did not go see John Wick Chapter 4. Here we go. It also marks Lionsgate's best domestic opening of the pandemic era, as well as one of the best so far of 2023. To boot, according to Lionsgate, it joins a select few films that have set a franchise record in their fourth outing of only 9 in the past 40 years. Internationally, the movie opened number 1 in every market. The UK led with $6.7 million, 56% ahead of John Wick 3. Keanu Reeves once again stars as the expert assassin named Baba Yaga. John Wick 4's performance was fueled by males. Herp a fucking derp right there. It's a gun-fu action movie, but still. John Wick Chapter 4's performance was fueled by males, who made up nearly 70% of ticket buyers, while more than 55% of the audience was between ages 18 to 34, according to Post-Track. And the movie accounted for more than 60% of all foot traffic per intelligence. IMAX and premium large format screens delivered a whopping 38% of the gross, and I think the reason why so many people wanted to go see this movie on IMAX or quote-unquote premium large format screens is because this is probably going to be the last proper John Wick movie. I know that the spinoff with Armas is coming out. I believe news broke that the release date for that is now sometime next year in 2024. I could be wrong, but I do remember reading that a couple days ago that the Ballerina was going to release sometime 2024. Here we go. One challenge. John Wick 4's runtime is 2 hours and 49 minutes, meaning fewer showtimes. So once again, John Wick Chapter 4, a near 3-hour action movie, having fewer showtimes than Shazam Fury of the Gods, and kicking Shazam Fury of the Gods' ass in terms of box office numbers. Directed by Chad Stahelski, the film is jam-packed with the usual mayhem, violence, balletic physicality, if I can read today, and morbid humor that have come to define the action franchise. The cast also features Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgård, Lawrence Fishburne, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shamir Anderson, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. I think it's Sawayama, I think is how you pronounce it. Ian McShane and the late Lance Reddick. Yes, Lance Reddick did pass within the last week or two. Who passed earlier this month. The film was produced by Basil. Internationally, the movie debuts this weekend in 71 territories worldwide, including the UK, Germany, Australia, France, Italy, Spain, and Mexico. John Wick 4, a Thunder Road film / 8711 entertainment production, easily annihilated Shazam Fury of the Gods, now in its second weekend. They're referring to Shazam Fury of the Gods going into its second weekend, not John Wick Chapter 4. From New Line, here's how much Shazam Fury of the Gods fell off. From New Line and DC, Shazam 2 fell a steep 68% to $9.7 million in its second weekend, in more bad news for the kid-friendly superhero pick. The film's 10-day domestic gross through Sunday is $46.3 million. Overseas, it pulled in $12.1 million from 77 markets for a tepid tally of $56.1 million and $102.4 million globally. So, once again, a near 3-hour R-rated action movie kicked the shit out of a PG-13 superhero movie that is geared to be more family-friendly. Now, the one aspect of John Wick Chapter 4, the one aspect of the coverage I did not like, was the fact that the trades, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, basically spoiled the ending of the movie as of Thursday night. That would have been March 23rd, was this article from Hollywood Reporter, and yes, that was as of Thursday night. John Wick Chapter 4 ending, Keanu Reeves explains that emotional surprise, and they basically go into the article that, well, I'm going to say it right here, spoiler alert, but I really don't feel bad about reporting this because this has already been mass reported in the trades. John Wick pretty much dies at the end of the movie. Right, that's pretty much it. But the producer came out a few days later. This was on March 27th. So by the time you guys see this, it would have been the day prior. That the ending is quote unquote ambiguous. And let me see if I can pull up the quote here. Here it is. Is John Wick really dead? The end of John Wick Chapter 4 throws fans of the long-running action franchise a twist by seemingly killing off the eponymous assassin. John participates in a sunrise duel to free himself of the high table with his opponent, the Marquis Vincent de Gramont, played by Bill Skarsgård, nominating Kane, played by Donnie Yen, to take his place. Kane shoots John, and John seemingly misses Kane during the third round of the duel, but John was merely saving his final bullet to kill Marquis instead. Here we go. This coming directly directly from Keanu Reeves. Actually, no. But is John actually dead? Not even Keanu Reeves knows the definitive answer. Quote, I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to lean in on never say never, Reeves told Entertainment Weekly when asked if John is dead or if he'll return for a fifth John Wick movie. Quote, I mean, I wouldn't do a John Wick film without Chad Stahelski. We have to see what that looked like. For me, it feels really right that John Wick finds peace. And if you ask me personally, I think that they should just leave the mainline John Wick series at 4 movies, because if they come out and they go, surprise, we're going to do John Wick Chapter 5, it's going to severely diminish the impact of the ending of John Wick Chapter 4, right? You introduce this aspect of finality, like, okay, this is going to be the final chapter in this. After this, we're done. Now, granted, we're still going to do the Ballerina, and we're still going to have the Continental TV show that was originally set to go to Stars. I do remember this. This was actually reported back in like 2016, 2017, that the Continental TV series was originally going to go to Stars. It's now going to go to Peacock, but still, we're going to do the spinoff of Ballerina and this, prequel show about the Continental and how that started, back in the 1960s or 70s, whenever that was, and that's going to go to Peacock. But the mainline John Wick series is done. We're going to leave it alone because we don't want to diminish the impact of these 4 movies. And unfortunately, just before I recorded this, I found this other article from the Hollywood Reporter, John Wick 5 back on the table after box office blow-up. Quote, we're all going to take a tiny rest here and then scratch at ideas about whether there's a credible way to get into 5, but there's no guarantee, says Lionsgate Motion Picture Group President Joe Drake. Again, leave John Wick Chapter 4 alone. Leave that as the final chapter and just move on, right? The reason why Rambo 4 did so well box office-wise back in 2008 was because Stallone was marketing that movie as the final Rambo movie, right? So if they market John Wick Chapter 4 as this is the final mainline John Wick movie, it might actually do better come second, third, fourth weekend, because, okay, we now know that there's at least a definitive ending. But if they try to come out and they do John Wick Chapter 5, it's going to completely diminish the ending of Chapter 4. And not only that, it could potentially taint the entire series as a whole. And guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this segment right here. So just stick around, and we'll get right into the next one.